And there we are. So, and Rick, of course, if you want to, well, why don't we do this? Why don't you, oh, and Rick, of course, if you want to, well, why don't we do this? Why don't you, okay, I thought I muted. I went to another screen to mute it, but I guess it didn't carry over. So I guess you have to be on. But
Yeah.
anyways, I got that fixed now. So all right, Rick. Well, why don't you first? Why don't you introduce yourself, and if you want, why don't you go ahead and share your link in the chat? Why don't we do that first?
Well, I am Rick Piper of Cross Comics, and I make my own comics, Christian superheroes. So, if anybody likes that, I also have a YouTube channel where I have a chill stream every Tuesday night, and I'm on like everywhere. So I'll put my one of my links in the chat in a moment here. And I love reading comics.
Yeah, as we
I
do
don't do it
every
as
Friday.
often as I also love to read them. I mean, voice them.
What am I? Is that your way of telling me I'm roboting?
No. I was practicing for a certain character.
Hmm. Ah. Oh yeah, I sent you the link to the comic book itself. You got
Yeah,
that right?
I got that. Yeah, I had it up, but I'm just gonna read off your screen. It'll be easier. The
All
screen
right.
that you put
I
up.
didn't know if you want because I know you said you wanted to study up on the stuff beforehand. So
Yeah, I did bring it up. I looked through it a little bit.
hmm,
More just the Human Torch one.
hmm.
Read a few of his lines.
Okay. I don't know. Even though he is an android, I don't think he actually is robotic like that. But
Yeah, I don't know. I just thinking that day and age, if they might have had him do something like that. Now like you have Data, and he didn't sound any like thing like that, and other ones,
yeah.
but you know, actually, my voice was a little. I had a slight. It was slightly different what I did. I am the flame, and human. I can't get it right. What I had.
uh, we did. If you remember, we did do a character, the Flame, before.
Yeah. J- just I. Oh, I just remember I read like a line. Oh, he can't. You can't control the flame. In it while I was reading through it or skimming through it.
Rick, are you on the? Do you have a window open to the YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's still showing only one watch, and I have
Oh,
one on mine too. It still seems to be only showing like one watching. So YouTube, and StreamYard are being funny right now, or trying to be funny. I'm not necessarily laughing though. Anyways, okay. So, anyways, let's. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Because as I did say, we're going to be covering a lot of ground tonight here. So, hopefully, eventually, we can get people to get more of this caught
yeah.
up. All right. So, with that, okay. So tonight, of course, for everybody out there, tonight we are going to be looking at Marvel Comics #1. But before we do that, of course, we're going to look at some early history. We're going to talk a little bit about how Timely came into being, and also we'll be doing the character intros as we're just past 5 minute mark now. So we're looking at possibly being here for the next 3 hours. So I hope you all are ready for this, ready for a very informative, and hopefully entertaining night tonight. So, without any further ado,
Yes.
well, go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say yes, I am. Okay, so on with the show. This is it. No more rehearsing. We know our parts by heart. Okay, not.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get to this then.
Hey, that's Captain America's shield.
Oh,
or close
I
to it.
don't know. That may have been an early.
Early. Yeah, or something early that looks like his original shield.
Yeah.
I think it had a little bit more red in it, though.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
did
it
say
did.
Timely Comics on it.
That may have been one of the early designs that more like kind of this shape as opposed to just the circular shield that we're more accustomed to. Oh, anyways, all right. So,
Yeah.
here we go. Timely Comics is the 1940s comic book publishing company that would evolve into Marvel Comics. During this era, called the Golden Age, Timely was the umbrella name for the comics division of pulp magazine publisher Martin Goodman, whose business strategy involved having a multitude of corporate entities, including Red Circle Comics, all producing the same
Which is part
product.
of Archie.
Huh?
I'm saying Red Circle is part of Archie now, or was, is.
Well,
I'm not sure.
we'll probably read more about that when we do get to Archie, when we do eventually.
Yeah, I was just saying it. I was just saying it as a comment. You
Yeah,
know, some commentary.
yeah. Timely was originally located in the McGraw Hill building on West 42nd Street in New York City. McGraw Hill, they were a well-known publishing company. I know that even for a while there, they were actually publishing textbooks too, like school textbooks. Um, they were pretty
I
well
can
known.
believe that.
And later moved to the 14th floor of the Empire State Building. All right, so we're just going to read this first section here, creating the company, and then we'll get on to the Marvel Comics #1. We'll look at some of that. So, in 1939, with the emerging medium of comic books proving hugely popular and the first superheroes setting the trend, Goodman contracted with newly formed comic book quote unquote packager Funnies Inc. to supply material. His first effort, Marvel Comics #1, cover date October 1939, featured the first appearances of writer artist Carl Burgos' superhero The Human Torch and Paul Gustafson's costume detective The Angel. As well, it contained the first generally available appearance of Bill Everett's mutant anti-hero Namor the Submariner, created for their unpublished movie theater giveaway comic, Motion Picture Funnies Weekly. And we noticed, and if you know from what we talked about before, DC had a very
Yeah.
similar comic called Movie Comics as well at the time.
Yeah, I don't think though at the time he would have been considered a mutant or an anti-hero. Neither of those
I mean,
terms had come into
I mean,
existence for.
yeah, that stuff came later. But I think for the most part, I think yeah, because I get what you're saying. The term mutant wasn't really used until until much later. But when
Yeah, or and definitely anti-hero much later after that.
yeah,
At that time, he when he was created, he probably would have just been created as a hero.
right,
They changed his a little bit when he came into the Fantastic Four in the '60s
yeah.
to make him more villainesque.
Mhm. Earlier that year, with the 8-page original story now extended by 4 pages. Um, yeah, so also included was Al Ander's Western hero, the Masked Raider, the Jungle Lord Khazar the Great, with Ben Thompson adapting the story King of Fang and Claw by Bob Bird in Goodman's eponymous pulp magazine Khazar #1. Thorne Dixon's non-continuing character story Jungle Terra, featuring an adventurer named Ken Masters, not to be confused with the video game character, mind you, the the Mortal Kombat character. Um,
Uh,
Quote: Now I'll tell one. 5 single-panel black and white gag cartoons by Fred Schwab on the inside front cover, and a 2-page prose story by Ray Gill, Burning Rubber, about auto racing. It's kind of funny they talk about that because next week when we look at Speed Comics from Harvey, I initially thought that was going to be pretty much a racing comic, but there is some racing in it, but it's not like full on. They have some superheroes and stuff, but again, more on that next week, obviously. Um,
yeah.
when Tim will be with me. So, anyways, moving on from this, a painted cover by veteran science fiction pulp artist Frank R. Paul featured the Human Torch, looking much different than in the interior story. Um, in parentheses here, the Khazar here is unrelated to Marvel Comics Jungle Lord Khazar introduced in the X-Men in March of 1965. Now, what I told you at the beginning there. That initial comic,
Yeah.
cover dated October 1939, quickly sold out 80,000 copies, prompting Goodman to
Wow.
yeah,
A lot of comics are lucky to get that nowadays
yeah,
by DC or Marvel.
yeah. hmm
And back then was their beginningness, so it's a little
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. They went. They were just good superhero stories back then. But we'll get a chance to see all that when we go and read those.
Yeah.
To produce a second printing, cover dated November 1939, and identical except for a black bar in the inside front cover in indicia over the October date, and the November date added at the end. Um, that sold approximately 800,000 copies. With a hit on
Oh,
its hands,
wow. That is
so
crazy.
15,000 copies in the first 2 months.
Yeah, almost 900,000 copies. And I'm sure they could have sold 900, that extra 20,000 easy.
So you mean almost? Well, yeah. Well, yeah. But anyways, um, actually, I'm sorry. 800 copies each month. So that, or no, 80. Oh, 80,000 and 800,000. Yeah, you're right. Almost 900,000 right there. Another 120,000
Yeah.
copies would have. All right, I misread that. Anyways, with a hit on his hands, Goodman began assembling an in-house staff, hiring Funnies Inc. writer artist Joe Simon as editor. Simon brought along his collaborator artist Jack Kirby, followed by artist Sid Shorts. Now, Jack Kirby, we've seen some of his other works too earlier on in our study here, but that's as much of
Yeah.
that as we need to see right now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go over to before we go before we go to the actual reading, of course, but go over to this thing's Marvel Comics #1 entry here. I'm gonna go down to like the notes and the notes and all that for this series, and then come back up and go through the character intros. So
Yeah.
all right, notes, continuity notes. Human Torch. Since this publication, the origins of the Human Torch have been expanded and told from different perspectives, namely, and then all the, of course. Now, of course, one of the other things that I'll mention, of course, next time we hit Marvel again, is that they change. This is the only time that Marvel Comics had actually a book itself called Marvel Comics, because starting with issue 2, this series would become Marvel Mystery Comics. So, anyway,
Huh.
the Torch's origins have also been expanded in Avengers Annual number 22, revealed that Phineas Horton worked in the town of Timely, Wisconsin under Victor Timely Jr., who was secretly the time traveler Kang, who had established the town to secretly proliferate the modern age with future tech so he could conquer that era. Horton was later revealed to have worked with others in designing his android, namely Fred Raymond, father of the Torch's future sidekick Toro, James Bradley. So these are things that we'll probably come upon. Namor's origins here are only a brief narration. They have since been depicted many times from many different perspectives, namely, the Holy One's real name is Emperor Thakor. Throughout publications in the 1940s and 50s, Thakor is referred to as the Holy One or the Emperor. Let's see. All Atlantean. Now, granted, remember, Namor is Marvel's Atlantean, whereas Aquaman was
Yeah.
the Atlantean. So, little tidbit there. But this is how I guess Marvel would depict. And that picture right there, you see that Dorman. We'll see more of her in a moment here. All Atlantean males are depicted as having fish-like characteristics: greenish skin with scales, large eyes. Kind of remember that from the Marvel superhero show, from the Namor segments of that show, and catfish-like
Yeah.
barbells under their nose. I guess that's this stuff that comes out like that, basically. If you
Yeah.
remember that.
Hey, Woody.
Woody's here, huh? Going over just
Yeah.
some notes here. Hey, Woody.
Woody, I just want to know for my sake, is Mike roboting to you, or am I roboting at all? I just want to know whose end it's on. Probably my end, which will be if he says I sound robotic.
Hmm.
But okay, okay,
Does
so
sound okay.
it's weird.
Me so far. Okay. Are you still hearing a roboting sound on your end, Rick?
Yeah,
All right.
so I don't know what it is. I just have to live with it for now.
All right. So, anyways, and they're still only showing me as having one person watching. This really gets on my nerves when YouTube does this. No robots here. Okay. Rick, why don't you talk about your comic for a moment? I'm gonna try something here to maybe hopefully that might get things going a little bit here. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Uh, no robots here. You are not a robot, okay? Maybe I am. Okay. So how are you, Woody? How you doing? Let me see. I got a link here. I've got some. I'm doing webtoons. I've got some older stuff that I've put up there. Let me. Do you check? Do you use webtoons at all, Woody? Uh, Here's a link to my webtoons if you want to subscribe. I've got little shorts from the Crossverse. I'm hoping to start putting up some by the end of this month. Putting up some pages for a comic book, or maybe two different comic books. Um, One about well, you have to see. Let it be a surprise for both. Actually, well, I don't, but I might if I knew about it. Yeah, well, webtoons is just different people put up you know comic type stuff. I think there's a variety of different genres and topics on there. I've got a few shorts, that from the crossword that aren't canonical, but just supposed to be make like little funny. They're either one or two, usually 1 to 4 panels. But I'm like I said, I'm working on trying to do some stuff where I'm putting out at least a comic page a month for comic that after they're done, that maybe I'll do an Indiegogo to, sell them as a book. Um,
All right, so hopefully now that might help a little bit more, but
oh, you're not sounding any bit robotic now.
huh? Oh, was that
I
Rick?
said you're not sounding. I said you're not sounding robotic now.
Uh,
So that might help.
all right.
Whatever you did seems to have worked.
Well, I don't know if what I was doing would have helped you out as much, but I was just trying to see if I could find a way to fix the count there a little bit by doing a few things, and it would seem that that might be working a little bit there. So, uh,
Yeah.
anyways,
Cool, 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 Woody.
why don't we go ahead and get back to this stuff then? Let's see. So all Atlantean males are depicted. Okay, so we read that part. Let's see. Under their nose, while females have Caucasian skin but large eyes and some slight fish-like features. And there's Dorma right there to the right there. Her early days there. Atlanteans were not depicted with their trademark blue skin and humanoid features until Fantastic Four Annual #1. Additionally, the name of their race and the fact that they had any connection to Atlantis was not revealed until that issue. So, and then Adventures of Kazar the Great. David Rand has no apparent relation to Kevin Plunder, the modern age Kazar who first appeared in X-Men #10, which of course I talked to you a little bit about before, Rick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
publication notes here. First Marvel comic published. Obviously, Kazar first appeared in October 1936 in a Manvis publishing company pulp magazine called Kazar. Two more issues of the magazine were published in January and June of 1937, and Kazar did not appear until Marvel Comics Volume 1, Number 1. Let's see. Um, and then the first 8 pages of Submariner story are reprinted in color. Okay. And then trivia here. This issue is sometimes referred to as Marvel Mystery Comics Volume 1, Number 1, as the next series storyline is in Marvel Mystery Comics #2, which I kind of mentioned that to you already too, Rick.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see. And I guess this is said to be the oldest piece of Marvel art there is. So let's see. So let me go back up here and see if we can go through real quick, get through some of the basics on the characters, on at least the 3 characters we're going to be covering tonight, and we'll probably go down. And we're just going to primarily, of course, focus on um, just going to primarily focus on um, the main character, the feature characters and the main supporting characters here. So Human Torch,
Yeah.
Jim Hammond, Earth 616. Again, we're not going to read the whole history here. We're gonna actually just go down to the attribute section here and just and more or less, if it's self-explanatory, I probably won't go into detail. But if I feel like I should probably read a little bit of it, then all right. So powers: pyrokinesis. The original Human Torch possessed the mental ability to control ambient heat energy and the physical ability to transform his entire body or portions of his body into a fiery plasma-like state. Plasma form, which I think we just kind of went over. It's kind of the idea of his body engulfed in flames, I believe.
Yeah.
I get Nova Flame. The torch refers to his highest, hottest levels of plasma that he can create as his Nova Flame. The exact temperature that his Nova Flame can attain are not known. Temperatures at an average rate of expenditure of energy, the torch can stay aflame for about 16.8 hours. Um, in his younger days, he could only maintain. Let's see. In his younger days, he could only maintain his flame for much briefer periods, and sometimes exhausted it while in combat. He cannot maintain his Nova Flame for as long a time as he can maintain his ordinary flame. The torch can release all of the body's stored energy. Okay, I think that's enough of that.
Reaching like 1 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Fire manipulation. That's pretty much so. In other words, he can manipulate fire. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Flight, thermokinesis. The Human Torch has the ability to mentally control the ambient heat energy within his immediate environment. So basically, he could like tap into whatever heat energy a particular object has. I guess is what that is. Um, Immunity to
Yeah.
fire and heat. Well, I mean that's kind of no brainer, right? if he is a living form of fire, of course he's going to have immunity to fire and heat.
Yeah.
Radiation generation. Um, Another distinction he has with Johnny Storm is that Jim can make his flame radioactive. However, it was not revealed the it was not revealed the extent of his powers. Oh, what they're saying there is that he could make his heat radioactive, but to what extent they don't.
Yeah,
It never was clarified.
yeah,
Abilities. He has received some training in unarmed combat from Captain America and is an expert in combat use of his superhuman powers. The Torch can live without oxygen, entering a stasis mode. Hmm. Let's see. Weaknesses.
makes sense. He's a machine.
Yeah. Weaknesses. Energy depletion. At an average rate of expenditure of energy, the Torch can maintain his plasma state for about 16.8 hours before he's forced to revert to his solid state. So, um, fire extinguishing. That's pretty self-explanatory. As being a kind of a living being of fire, of course, somebody just shoots him with a fire extinguisher and could put out his flame more likely. And then equipment transportation,
Yeah,
formerly Avengers. Let's see notes. Um, go through a few of these. I don't know if we'll go through all of them. Maybe we will. The general public was unaware that the original Human Torch also used the identity of Jim Hammond. The torch's light output is mostly in um, infrared region of the spectrum and is invisible to the unaided eye. Um, it has been identified that a number of wartime tales released to the public during World War II was done in the form of comic books and were often altered to aid in American propaganda to boost American support for the war effort. So what they're basically saying is that within the Marvel universe, they actually published a Human Torch comic book in order to get people behind the war effort.
yeah.
Ah, let's see. That was later. So yeah. So the initiative. Let's see. Trivia. The initiative training facility Camp Hammond, named after the Human Torch. Furthermore, a statue of Hammond on the grounds bears the inscription "Jim Hammond, the first of the Marvels." Um, she showed us that heroes can be made. Well, considering he's a robot, android, yeah. Torch used to leave burning footprints um, when which were known to have lasted for several hours. Originally, he had red hair. So, all right. So, with that, let's go on to Phineas. Probably a few more notes there than Phineas Hort. All right. So, attributes and all that here. Um, super genius intelligence for in hypnosis. Notes: Horton was a driven man. He was obsessed with gaining the glory he felt he deserved creator as the creator of the first android. He was also obsessed with his creation, the original Human Torch. Of the three scientist guild members who came to see Professor Horton, one resembles Professor Philo Zogolowski, and one resembles Dr. Joshua Williams. And then there's other stuff we'll see later, obviously. Horton was Jewish. So, anyways, that's all the intro for the Human Torch there. Let's go through real quick. Gonna try. I know it's taking a while to get and look at some of that artwork, huh? There,
Uh,
Rick.
yeah.
Namor the Submariner. Anyways, back to this. Oh wow, we're at 35 minutes already. We haven't even got to the readings yet. But then again, I slated this for 3 hours anyway. So Namor McKenzie or 616. Again, we're not going to go through all the whole bio here. Just the more, just kind of the more simplified stuff here. According
Hey,
to
Shadowhawk.
Shadowhawk here. Hey, Shadowhawk. As always, guys, if you can help by liking and sharing the stream, seeing if we get some more friendly people in here. We're just going over some of the character intros here before we get into the actual readings. So if you guys can hold on a bit and learn a little bit, well, getting through these as much as we can. Intelligence 2, strength 6, speed 3, durability 6, and projection 2, and fighting skills 4. Mutant Atlantean physiology. Namor's powers come from being a unique hybrid of Atlantean Homo romanus and mutant Homo superior physiologies. Um, okay, so I think for the early stages, of course, it's more of the Atlantean.
Human hybrid.
Yeah. Um, so he has amphibious physiological adaptation, basically meaning he can survive underwater, or on the land. Superhuman strength, superhuman speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, durability, aquatic healing. If he was somehow injured, Namor's body can heal damaged tissues faster and much more extensively than a human or most Atlanteans. Namor's accelerated healing is at its peak while he is immersed in water, but does diminish the longer he is out of contact with water or if he is completely dry. See, radiation absorption, extended longevity, underwater breathing, aquatic telepathy, echolocation like some fish, enhanced senses include the augmented vision, super hearing, flight, as we all remember the little wings on his ankles.
Yeah. And thanks, Shadowhawk, for tweeting it out. This out.
All right. Atmokinesis. Without the aid of his trident, Namor is capable of manipulating weather phenomenon in a similar vein to Storm of the X-Men. So yeah, hydrokinesis, which means he could also Aquabe Namor.
Manipulate water.
Yeah, abilities: expert combatant, bold diplomatic immunity, expert tactician. Again, all qualities needed for a great leader, right? A great political leader.
Yeah.
Multilingual, skilled engineer, talented business executive. Weaknesses: due to his mingled bloodline of Atlantean and human breeding, a number of natural dependence and unique vulnerabilities has occurred. Water deficiency, in other words, he does get weak. Even though he can survive on the land, he gets weaker or becomes more quote unquote normal if he's out of the water for too long.
Yeah.
Oxygen imbalance. Namor has demonstrated a vulnerability to oxygen imbalance when remaining too long in either water or air, resulting in manic depressive mood swings. Bipolar tendencies.
Basically, he can't stay underwater too long, and he can't stay on land too long.
Yeah. And some of the things that bring that include bipolar tendencies, head problems, though the complete circumstances are unknown. If hit just right, Namor has at times succumbed to physical head injuries very easily, such as being knocked out by a lead pipe wielded by a normal human man. Okay. still, there are times he has withstood constant high force attack. So, yeah, okay. Um, PTSD, post traumatic stress syndrome. Part of the real reason why Namor suffers from a deeper mental and emotional imbalance is due to the psychological scarring he'd incurred at the atrocities committed by both sides of the conflict during World War II. He's chronically stuck reliving harsh memories. Dehydration, pollution, wings. Despite being incapable of proper lift, um,
Providing incapable of providing lift.
uh, oh, despite being incapable of providing lift, Namor's wings seem to be essential to his flying abilities, and their loss renders him grounded. All right, I guess that makes Orna Proteus. Let's see. Namor was the very first Marvel character who has a history that spans over 70 years of publication, appearing in Motion Picture Funny Weekly #1. So that was Namor's most modern appearance. Was okay, so all that stuff we don't necessarily need. All right. So, anyways, go to go and look at some of the other. Hope I'm not boring you too much there, Rick. I'm trying to make this as
No, no.
Rick.
Yeah, I'm here. No, you're not boring me. I'm just.
I know it's a lot of information
I
to
don't know
take.
why, but well, there's that. And for some reason, I'm feeling a little sluggish today, tired. But I'm going to do my best to get through tonight, being awake for all of it.
Okay, so Princess Fen here. This is one of the supporting characters. Um, Granted, again, we'll learn more about her as we read the stories. Obviously, her powers: Atlantean physiology, paraphernalia. Let's see, Atlantean submarine transportation. I think she was part of the Atlantean royal family. Obviously, Dorma.
Yeah. Uh,
There's Dorma right there. You don't need to read the her entire history there.
Profile.
Yeah. Atlantean physiology, superhuman strength, peak human speed, suspended aging, underwater breathing, superhuman durability. You see her power scores right
Which
there.
yeah, she wouldn't be Namora, would she? Or is that
No.
does Namora
Dorma.
actually have
This
a
one's Dorma. Dorma. But I know who you're kind of thinking of. You're thinking
Dharma?
of Mara, I think. Are you thinking of Aquaman's wife,
Who?
Mara?
No, no. I'm thinking of sort of the female version of Namora,
Oh,
or Normita.
yeah. Oh, and I don't know if
Supposed to
you
be his
real. I
cousin or
don't know if
something
you.
like.
I don't know if you or anybody else ever realized this, but you realize that Namor backwards is Roman
Yeah,
and a
so
citizen
that's
of
been
Rome.
pointed out a few times.
Yeah. So, but since her first appearance, this is in the notes section. Dorma was depicted as having pink skin throughout all her appearances published in the 1940s and 50s. This has been retconned since her first Silver Age appearance. She has been depicted with blue skin, even in flashbacks and retelling the past stories. She has been depicted with blue skin. Trivia in more. Okay, Dorma said that. All right, well, we'll see that when we eventually down the road, probably. Um, that one. So let's see. And last in the Namor character intros, Holy One Thakor. Thakor!
Yeah.
Let's see.
Shadowhawk says Normita was in one of the teen groups.
Oh, Namor Rita. She was in one of the teen groups. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, they did have her in the Black Panther movie, Namora. She was beside. Well, she was helping. She was Atlantean helping fight. I didn't realize she was there at first till they said her name.
Okay.
That's how much they got the character to look like her. But I know we're talking about well, sort of Namorish talking, but talk. But anyways, you probably want to go on to another character.
Yeah.
So
Well, let me just finish this one first. Powers. Thacor possesses the typical attributes of Atlanteans, Homo Moranis. Skills to enable him to extract oxygen from the water. Superhuman physiology enable him to. Okay. So yeah. So he's typical Atlantean. He gained more powers when he became when he became a vampire, but that's a little further down the line, obviously. But I think these power grid scores are based out of 10, so because we've had as high as 6 on there before. So now we got through all the name work. So now let's look at let's get down to Kazar here, and then we'll get into the readings. But I probably will need to go off camera here for a moment, then after I finish with this part. But I'll set up for other stuff before. All right. So, all right. Kazar, David Rand. Now, I know some of you got here late, and I'd already mentioned this to Rick. Uh, this is not to be confused with the modern Kazar. So there were two Kazars. There were this guy, David Rand, who was based out of Africa, and then there's the Kazar everybody else knows, Kevin Plunder, who's from the Savage Land, who's part of X-Men lore. So we'll get into abilities,
uh, they're
superhuman strength,
Tarzan.
yeah, superhuman strength, superhuman agility, abilities. After years of living in the jungle, Kazar had developed a very strong bond and mutual understanding with many of the animal inhabitants, like they were talking to him. He also had a keen understanding of the types of flora in the area. He was fluent in English and various African dialects and had learned how to fly an aircraft and drive tanks. Uh, weapons, he customarily carried two knives and used a spear or a bow or a bow and arrows as necessary. So primarily a hand-to-hand combatant, it would seem. So notes: Kazar's first appearance was in the pulp novel written by Bob Bird and published in Martin Gordman in 1936, titled King of Fang and Claw. It was adapted by Ben Thompson in Marvel Comics #1, from Marvel Mystery Comics #2 to Marvel Mystery Comics #5. The original story can be found online. David Rand should not be confused with the modern day Kazar Kevin Plunder, as we mentioned earlier. So, one other supporting character to go over, then I'll head over to the reading. We'll get ready to do the reading portion of it. As his parents both die here, so I don't think there's going to be much in that regard. But Czar the Lion. This was Kazar's basically partner companion in these stories. This Kazar, anyways. Basically, he was a lion. So the run at a peak of 36 miles an hour. According to this, intelligence is 1 because he was an animal. Strength 2, speed 2, durability 3, energy precision 1, fighting skills 3. So a lion. So
Oh, I hope they're not lying about this.
all right. So with this, I'm going to go ahead now and head over to the actual comic. Oh, I guess I hit the wrong thing there. Let's see. Oh, yeah, read comic. That's what we wanted. Oops. Don't you just hate it when you're trying to push buttons and you inadvertently hit the wrong button?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys look at this cover right here. I'll shrink it down for a moment while I go off for a moment. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring it down enough to where fit where the whole thing will hit the page. If not, then I'll try to just do at least a at least the top of it there. I guess.
Okay, right there. That's good. Oh,
I just went large again. That's why. All right, that's the part should do right there because he can at least read it. Rick, you can look over and talk about that. Why? So let's see what Shadowhawk just said. The dude in the armor with a skateboard. Um, she was hanging out with him. So I guess that's name Morita. I guess.
uh,
Anyways, I'll be right back.
uh,
And then when I get back, we'll get started on the reading, Rick. But if you want to
yeah.
talk about the cover or even anything else, go for it. I'll be right back.
Okay. Although the hand on this one hand looks a bit wonky when I look at it. The one that's supposed to be closest to us. It's got the four fingers and on there, but with the way that they put the flame coming off, they've made his hand look really wonky, in my opinion. Actually, his pinky is a little bit too big, which I think that's what the problem is. It's definitely good art for the time. So, how are you doing, Shadowhawk? What's new? Uh, Trying to think of something to say.
All right, I'm back. So let's get going. Hopefully everybody's still
Yay!
here with us. Let me just do something real quick. Give me a sure something here.
Do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
All right. So with that, go ahead and get going with the read now. And you notice so they have here this month the Human Torch, the Angel, Submariner, and yeah, and I guess sometimes they would put it as one word, sometimes they put it as a hyphenated word. So
Oh
then,
yeah, Submariner.
um, and then Masked Raider here. So, and there's the Human Torch right there on the left there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just talking about a little bit about his hand. It was what's with the Jeopardy thing, Alex? I just tried to fill some dead air with something, but I was talking about this one hand that would be closer to us. They
Uh-huh.
it looks a bit wonky, and I think what really makes it wonky is they made the pinky too long on it
Uh-huh.
because the
Well, that was
pinky.
the early day. That's probably the early days of comics, obviously. You know, that's
Yeah,
probably.
and just the flame coming off his hand the way it does too. That's a little something that I think makes it look a little wonky too. But
Hmm.
definitely that pinky. There's I can see the spot where they should have cut it off, but
Uh-huh.
for some reason they didn't. Whoever didn't.
And that's his
The
plasma
spot
form
where it's
right there.
bending.
Action,
Yeah.
mystery, adventure. Now tell one. So these are some of the, I guess, more gag strip features.
Yeah.
uh, so, anyways, the Human Torch. There he is, right there.
Well, this is gonna be a real hot one.
Yeah. Hmm.
Things are
Gentlemen
about to
of,
heat up.
all right. Gentlemen
Okay,
of the
I'll
press.
shut up.
Every time I go to start, you're cutting me off there, Rick.
sorry,
Oh boy.
sorry.
Can I get to reading now? uh,
I guess so.
yeah, okay. Gentlemen of the press, I called you to my laboratory because I, Professor Horton, have a difficult problem in my latest discovery. As you all know, I've been
Oh.
working on a synthetic man, an exact replica of a human being. When I finished, I found I had surpassed anything that any scientist had ever done. If you'll follow me, oh, by the way, let's go back up. So, the Human Torch by Carl Burgos, by the way. So just
Yeah.
I forgot to read that out, but anyways,
Yeah.
no,
The only problem I find is here is he's called the press because he has a problem with his latest invention. You don't call the press for that.
you don't tell the
Usually.
press that. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you don't call the press when you have a problem with what your invention. I think you would call some other scientists.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Um, if you'll follow me, I'll show you why. Even I fear this monstrosity which I've created. In this airtight glass cage, lives my creation. I call him the Human Torch. See, they even made him blonde back then, a la Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Something went wrong with my figurines. Somewhere, every time this robot, the Human Torch, contacts oxygen in the air, he bursts into flame. Now watch. As Horton allows some air into the cage, the others gasp in terror. Good Lord! That figure is a wall of fire! Horton!
Horton,
Oh,
destroy.
go ahead. You do the glass. Yeah, I was
Uh,
so into it, I forgot. I need to get you involved in this too. Go ahead. Be the glasses
yeah.
guy.
Okay. Horton, destroy that man before some madman can grasp its principles and hurl it against our civilization.
No, sorry, gentlemen, but you see, destroying him does not answer anything.
Then perhaps the power of the press will help change your mind.
Now, what do you think that means, Rick?
In other words, he's going to write a story on him and, try and get, people, protesting and rallying against him. Sort of the way things have, been done for since this and before.
Yeah. Well, what
The
would we
proud
call that today?
canceling him.
Yeah. Doesn't that seem to be the mindset there? Okay. So, and I'll read the narration. I'll let you do the newsboy there. Um, within the
Eh.
hour, within the hour, um, newsies are on the street with an extra.
Extra, read all about it. The man on fire, the human torch.
Hello? Yes, this is Horton. Who is this? The Scientist Guild. You want to see my creation? Certainly. Any time you say tonight? Very well. At 8 that evening. 8
Shouldn't you
bells.
read the? I
Oh,
guess it doesn't make sense to read the
well, I have to go
narration
back and read it,
underneath,
so I should
but
have probably did. I should have been. As Horton reads the paper in his study, the phone buzzes, breaking the room's eerie silence. That evening, 8 bells. You're on time, boys. Before I read that. All right.
want
All
me
right.
to
I'll,
do
I'll
this
let you
guy?
do some of these supporting characters. Go ahead.
Eh. You know, Horton, those newspapers you have aroused the public, and we three have been sent to investigate this so-called human torch.
Hmm. I thought so, my friends. Come this way, please, and I will show you everything. To be truthful, even I can't understand this strange phenomenon. It's hard to say what it is. It might be spontaneous combustion, but who knows?
Perhaps we might be available to analyze him, Horton.
Let's see.
He looks harmless enough. Do you mind feeding him some air so that we can measure the heat given with the pyrometer?
Very well. Let's see. And this is sometimes what happens with these older comics. Sometimes it's hard to, as air leaks in, the weird flame livens like a hellish fire.
Good Lord! The hands of the meter have already gone off the dials.
What? The meter snapped. The heat. It's too great.
And you have no control over the flame?
None whatsoever. That is why I'm afraid. And now that you've seen it, what is your opinion?
Horton, this may hurt, but since you've no control over him, I'm inclined to agree with the newspapers. Destroy him!
Surely there must be some other way than to break him up. For who knows, in the course of experimentation, I might hit on a device to gain control of and master this mechanical torch.
There is a way out, Horton. Entomb him in a concrete block so that if
That's it. If I find the solution, I can dig him out, and that way there's no danger. Eureka! That's the answer. The next day, workers begin building a a mold in which to bury the Human Torch. While in the house, an official witness of the press, you've seen me seal the Human Torch in the steel tube, perhaps forever. Lifting the steel tube,
Where?
in there lies the Human Torch. Two huskies carry it from the room and fit it to a hook dangling from the top of the derrick. You know what a derrick is?
What a name for a I'm gonna guess a crane.
Yeah, pretty much what it is. Okay, let it go. As the tube hits the
Wet.
the way,
I think it's wet cement.
hits the wet cement. All right, I'm not even gonna try to because that's too blurry.
Although I don't think that was a very good idea, though.
What?
They're just dropping it in, even to this wet cement. You think, something could break.
Well, I mean, if they're making a concrete block, I mean, that's going to be heavy to begin with. So, I mean,
Yeah, no, but what I mean, he's in a tube, right? Some metal tube or whatever. And if you just drop it into the wet cement, something on impact can break, you know? Possibly. I would have just lowered it slowly in.
time went by and everybody had forgotten about the fireman until one early morning there was a terrifying blast and the earth split open. Boom! The windows of Horton's nearby home were shattered to bits. That was a very common phrasing back then. Shattered to bits.
Yeah.
In Horton's bedroom, good heavens, what was that? I wonder, could it be? Horton rushes to the shattered window. Ye gods! That was the Human Torch's tomb. Could he have been destroyed? He must have been. Nothing could survive a blast like that. Nothing unless.
Hello, he's made of fire.
Unless there was a leak in the airtight tube in which he was buried. A leak, but that's impossible. I sealed it myself.
Yeah, but it was dropped from a crane down a few feet.
But there had been a leak, a slow leak, allowing the oxygen to seep in slowly. So it didn't just happen like all at once. It just kind of seeped in slowly.
Yeah.
The Human Torch, in contact with air, spreads terror through the city as everything he touches turns into an inferno. Fire! It's the Human Torch! He's on the loose! I'm burning alive! Why must everything I touch turn to flame? Attracted by the clamp of by the clang of fire engines. Um, After somebody and turned in a fire alarm, turned in a fire alarm, the Human Torch runs. I guess.
Uh, I'm not sure what it says. Look, the Human Torch, busy men.
Ha! I like the sound of the bell.
Well, what are you waiting for, guys? Come on, get the hose into action.
Yes, sir.
Hurry, that guy's still here. Water out, do the trick.
I think it's pronounced ought.
Water ought to do the trick.
Oh, oh.
Keep pouring the water on him. The flame's dying down. I'm gonna get Horton.
As the water spurts onto the Human Torch, a hissing sound below bellows. A cloud of smoke rises, but the firemen are dumbfounded as
Uh, Glory be! The guy's laughing. It ain't human.
ha 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 ha! Stop! It tickles. Ha ha ha! As the Human Torch steps on a hose, it burns through, and the water spurts out. The flames once again shoot up, and the Human Torch is on the loose again. I must find a retreat. I've already caused too much damage. The guy with a question mark. Let's see. Coming to an iron gate, the Human Torch pauses. It looks like a pool is in there. Perhaps that will put out this flame. All right. Gripping the iron gate in his flaming hands, the Human Torch melts his way through the heavy bars. Those iron bars can't stop me. Leaving a trail, um, leaving a trail of blazing grass, the Human Torch dives into the pool. All right. So meanwhile, in the house on the estate with the pool.
That's funny. The grass around the pool is pointing. Sardo?
You're nuts, Red. Wait a minute. Did you say burning? That means but one thing.
Huh?
Now listen. Get the winter glass cover that fits the pool. Draw the air out um, and drain the water out. Hurry. Don't ask any questions. Later. Ah, I thought so. It's a Human Torch.
So what?
That's what I like about you, Red. You're so stupid.
I don't like that kind of talk, Sardo.
Forget it, Red. We got $1 million racket and don't need to worry about cops now. Why do you think that is, Rick? What do you think
Yeah,
he's
they're gonna
smiling?
try and use yeah. But my thing is, the Human Torch gets in there. That pool. You would have thought all that water would have been evaporated by his heat. Sort of like the water at the that was being put on him by the fire hose.
Yep. Well, it's kind of funny
How
though
did they
because
get enough?
hmm,
Go ahead.
well, that's kind of funny because the fire hoses didn't necessarily put him out either. If you
Yeah,
remember, in fact, he said
yeah,
it.
but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, that's what I
I
mean.
mean,
He
he was
jumps in
even
the pool. He's
hoping that
feel.
the pool would actually put out the flames, and it didn't, apparently. But
Yeah. Well, and my thing is the way that he'd probably burn through all that water in there. How would they have enough time to drain out air? I'm not even sure how you would do that. Drain air out of a pool with water in it, and then drain out the water.
um, couldn't tell you that one. Again, just maybe just the limited understanding of science by the writers at this point in time. Maybe
Yeah.
see, Sardo um, tries explaining to Red his plans to use the Human Torch. From now on, Red, we're in the fire insurance business.
Okay. Okay, if you say so, Sardo.
And our first customer will be the Ackman Warehouses Incorporated.
But still can't point.
Look, dope. That guy in the pool is the Human Torch, and he can melt steel.
Do you think he'll work for us? If he can melt steel, what do you think the heck is holding that him in the glass?
Well, remember, glass was, if you remember, he was held in a glass container initially.
Yeah, but an airless one. I don't think that place is airtight.
Hmm.
But that's just my suspicions, eh?
Yeah. All right. If you've read the papers, you'd know that he starts burning as soon as he hits air. Do you get it now?
Yeah. But what's our next move, Sardo?
Get the car out. We're going to call on the Ackman Warehouses Incorporated. I think that's
But I
you.
don't. Yeah. But I still don't see how can that freak get can be of any use to us in our rocket, boss.
Later, I'll show you. You stay here, Red, while I have a sales talk with the company's president. Yes, sir. What can I do for you? I'd like to see Mr. Harris, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
That's
What can
why I
I do for
laughed.
you? Because I initially thought it was a guy, and then I didn't realize till afterwards it was a girl. I'd like to see Mr.
I
Harris, please.
realized it was a girl right away, but
Uh, and who shall I say is calling? Just say Mr. Sardo and tell him it's hot stuff. Oh, what a pun there.
yeah.
There's a Mr. Sardo outside to see you. He says it's hot stuff. Hot
Hot
stuff?
stuff.
Oh, go ahead.
Hot stuff. What's that? Oh well, send them in. I just figured I'd read it that way we could go back and forth.
Yeah, with his hmm. Mr. Harris, I'll be brief. Unless you sign up for my protection insurance, you won't have any more raw steel left in your warehouse.
Oh, rocketeer, eh? Listen, Sato, I don't need any insurance, and I hate punks like you. So get out now!
I was only doing you a favor, Harris. Um, you'll be sorry. Watch.
Did you did you have any looks?
Hold on.
Did you
Hold on. Sardo jumps into action. There was a
did you
narration
have
without.
did you have any looks, Sordo?
No, get moving. We got we got work to do and fast. Sardo and his lieutenant head for their mansion where they strangely hold the human torch. Now, Red, fill the pool with water, then get a diving suit and a glass tube to fit the human torch. You'll find them in my lab.
Yeah. Okay, Sordo.
After donning the diving suit, Sardo lowers himself into the pool and fits a tube on the Human Torch, who thinks Sardo is helping him. Okay, Red. Okay, Red. Lower a rope and haul away. Everything is okay so far. Um, the glass case is then placed on an operating cot. Um, and then wheeled to the back of a truck. Take it easy now, or you'll break the glass.
Now there's a third guy there. Part of the team. If you look in that panel, there's three guys.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Plus,
Yeah,
the Human Torch.
yeah.
I guess they could have got another guy.
Okay, now head for those warehouses where Harris keeps his steel. The truck bearing the torch speeds through the night. There. Oh, go ahead, Rick. I think it's you.
There's the there's the warehouse, Soto. That big one there.
Don't break the case. Not too fast. Move him slowly. It's all yours, Torch. Oh wait. Sardo.
You gotta
Oh
you
yeah.
gotta there. Yeah.
Sardo takes careful aim and throws a weight at the protecting glass case. The oxygen of the air um, makes a torch burst into flames. It's all yours, Torch. Burn it to the ground. Ha! I only wish Harris could see this. As the Human Torch walks about, um, unable to grasp the meaning of it all, the warehouse becomes a mass of flame. I confess I don't understand. I thought Sardo was trying to help me. The Human Torch um tries to tries to
Figure.
figure the reason Sardo is using him. Then he brings me here and breaks the cover. I wonder if he might be just a low down racketeer. Good guess, huh, there, Rick?
Um. Yeah, but my question is, how would he even know what a racketeer is He's an android. Has he been programmed with all this information?
Maybe. They could have. It's possible.
Because as far as I know, he wasn't living before. I don't know enough of the character, but as far as I know, he wasn't living before he was made and put in that jar
Yeah.
where he caught fire.
But I mean, there could have been something connected to the case that could have somehow been connected to his brain, and he could have been fed information that way. Granted, that's a little more
Yeah,
sci-fi.
yeah. But my
Actually, they
question
weren't
then
in
is, why
computers
would
back
he be
then, so
fed?
that wouldn't necessarily be possible. Oh, but
But then my question is, why would he even feed him any information about racketeers? What would be the
well, it may have
reasoning?
just been he may have just, for all we know, he could have probably just fed him information from a dictionary and read the whole dictionary, and the word racketeer came up.
Yeah, I could, but I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I'll admit it's a bit of a stretch, but it is a possibility.
I know. I gotta ask the continuity questions that
Yeah, well,
neither of us can
that's
answer.
that's part of this too. That's we look at this stuff, we look at some of these continuity stuff and stuff like that, and we ask them, but even with some of these continuity issues, wouldn't you say this is a lot better than what the Marvel writers are doing now? Even with some of these
Oh yeah,
continuity issues, wouldn't you say that this is a lot better than what's going on now at Marvel?
yeah. Oh yeah,
That's it.
definitely.
That's it. He must be. Else, why let me loose in this tinder box? And I believe tinder box means like kind of like a book of matches or something like that, or
Place
something.
that would go up. Well, in this case, it means something that would just go up very easily in
Yeah,
flames.
which is where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Sardo is a business wrecker. I've got to get out and see him. Uh-oh. The roof caved in, and that's my way out. I hope it, let's see. Taking a running start through the molten steel, the torch leaps upwards. I hope it works. Even the human torch is surprised as his leap turns out to be a flight through space. The
It's a flight
reason,
through space. Wow, he jumped far.
no kidding. Oh, we know another superhero that was still kind of making great leaps at this time, don't we?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, with a flight through space, he jumped really high up into space.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's
Well,
see
I
what.
know that's not quite what they mean, but
Yeah, I know. Um, the reason was that the blue the blue and combined red flames made the Human Torch lighter than air. Huh. Blue and red flames make him lighter than air. That's kind of interesting. An
or
interesting.
combined,
Yeah. The the goggle-eyed spectators flee as the Human Torch lands in their midst many blocks away. Now for that crook, Sarda, and his mob of rats.
and the thing is too, this guy is just inherently good too.
Yeah. Well, he also seems to be inherently intelligent because you know what I'm starting to think here. The reason he was so knowledgeable about racketeers, the reason he's probably just knowledgeable, is because even though he was encased in that, even though he was in stasis in that in
Two.
that glass case, he could probably still hear Horton reading the paper. That may have been
Yeah.
how that could have been it too.
Yeah.
Even though
Well,
he was
that's if he read it.
you could still see and hear what was going on, you know, and maybe
Yeah.
absorbing information that way too.
Yeah. Well, that's also if Horton was reading the paper aloud. Most people don't read the paper aloud.
Well, that's true too, but still, he could have been seeing. He still could have been seeing it. Depending upon
Yeah.
where the angle. I mean, there's a number of possible explanations here. We just don't know. Um,
Yeah.
so, so anyway, Sardo is taken by surprise by the torch's sudden appearance on his grounds, but um, what's this flash of fire coming into my place? Why, it's the Human Torch. Ha! You're a. Oh wait. I should. Sardo runs into the house, slamming the door in an effort to escape the Human Torch. Ha! You're a fool, Sardo. Why lock the door? Bam! A closed door can't stop the Human Torch. Um, he walks right through it. That door must have obviously been made of wood for him to walk through it so easily. It just melted right away.
Well, it could have been made of metal, but it probably would because I'm sure it would melt under the heat that he's producing, or I think he's producing.
I'll get you in the end. Good Lord, he's burning through the doors. I've got to hide. But where? I got it. My underground lab. It's steel. It'll stop him. Sardo runs to his secret underground lab. He'll never get me there. He'll never get me there. The walls are made of 12-inch battleship chromium steel plates.
There's something funny too. This villain he wants to be a mobster or is a mobster type guy, and he's a scientist too. I know you do see it, but not too often in comic books.
While in the house above, I wonder where Sardo disappeared to. I saw him run in here. As the house collapses, a lone figure stands erect. It's the Human Torch, untouched in the fiery inferno, um, helping the destruction with his own heat. Okay, helping the destruction with his own heat. It's funny, but I can't find Sardo in this in and and ruins in these ruins. I wonder. Ha 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 ha! It was easy. It was easy to burn Sardo's home down. Oh, look at this willful destruction right here. We've seen some of this with a
Yeah,
lot of early heroes, right? And not
yeah.
every one of them was laughing, but we did have some cases of cavalier attitudes when it comes to killing.
We can't wait for Sordo. Let's talk
Well, hold,
quick.
hold on.
Say,
There's a
oh,
narration
oh
at the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah, yeah. I should have waited for that.
Sardo's
Sorry.
mob leave their um, leader and try to run away um, when they see the torch. Now
We
go.
can't wait for Sordo. We can't wait for Sordo. Let's duck quick. Say, it's the torch. He fired the house.
Interesting way of saying it, considering when you say you fired when you fired something, has a totally different
Yeah.
meaning than what that guy said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as the Human Torch leaps forward, the others spread out. Some driving into the pool or diving into the pool. Sardo's man Red ducks under a nearby car. Jumping through space like a comet, torch lands on the car and melts the body as if it were made of butter. Um, Go ahead, Rick.
Help! The heat's killing me.
The heat is terrific, and under the auto. The human,
I guess I should let you read first.
the Human Torch, having scalded the gangsters in the pool by turning water into steam. That
The heroes. I must say, most of the heroes back then were more anti-heroes because they didn't kill about hurting or eating, or killing
yeah,
or injuring these
the bad guys.
severely
Yeah,
injured.
that rat burned. All right, and those fellows in the pool won't come up for air now. For Sardo. Steam runs back into the flaming house, um, seeking Sardo's hideout. A steel door. Funny, I didn't notice it before. Placing his hands on the door, it reacts like an acetylene
Accelerine tort.
acetylene torch, burning a hole through the steel. The door leads to Sardo's underground lab. So this is Sardo's lab, and I'm not surprised to get by that special door. Yeah, Sardo feels um, secure behind super steel walls. Hee hee. So you think you'll get me, huh? Not in a million years, Mister Torch.
He just got through your, like 12-inch door, steel, whatever door that you said about before.
Mhm. But Sardo's laugh wasn't wasn't funny as the Human Torch melts through the steel door, um, without 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 exertion. Hello, rat. Sardo, in an attempt to bring the torch under his control, dons a gas mask and hurls a gas bomb at him. Oh, that's a bright move.
Yeah.
Gas usually tends to be flammable.
Yeah, yeah, depending on what type of gas it is.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
It could be
But
like a gas
most
that you
gas
would get
though is
from.
flammable though. Most gas is flammable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I'm thinking if it's a gas that you might get from, like, say, a fire extinguisher.
yeah, that wouldn't be flammable. But most gas is flammable. You know.
Yeah.
Sardo, in an attempt to bring the torch under his control, Don. Okay, yeah. Adam, with no effect. The heat causing it to fizz before it can even touch the human torch. Zzz. Having fun, Sardo? The human torch laughs and bids Sardo to watch him as he picks up a bomb and instantly it melts. Sardo, now half crazed, picks up a tank of liquid air. Just as he is about to fling it, the clave of fire engines, the clang of fire engine catches the attention of both men. Clang, 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 clang. While the firemen
Don't
fight, uh, wait, while the firemen fight the
go.
morning blaze from the outside, Horton spots a tank full of nitrogen. He rushes into the flames.
Don't go in there. You'll be blown to bits.
I have to I have to get that nitro tank out of there. But just then, the Human Torch appears on the scene, and he too sees the tank.
Isn't he still messing with the bad guy? Why did he come upstairs away from the bad guy?
Hmm, I don't know. Couldn't
I
tell
don't know.
you.
Anyway,
With a mighty leap, his arms close the around the slim tank, melting melting it, and the nitro gas shoots up, while Horton's eyes pop with amazement. It's incredible. I hadn't seen if I hadn't seen it I and I'm not even gonna bother trying to read. That's too faded. That's in a part that's way too.
oh yeah, there's stuff I didn't even notice. The stuff on the fire. Jeez.
Uh, the fire chief serving this brave uh, the fire chief seeing this brave his uh, seeing this um, draws his gun and fires. Go ahead, Rick. You can be the
Oh, okay. This'll be a better world without you, Mister Torch.
but the still super hot skin saves the torch from destruction. The lead pellet melts as it lands between the eyes. You heard that before. Shoot somebody in between the eyes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's a good shot, though, for sure. All that fire around, and he actually makes the shot between the eyes for that.
Yeah.
And somehow
Okay.
I don't think you're reading this next little narration either.
I'm gonna let's see. With a giggling laugh, the Human Torch um, and yeah. All right, that's about as much of it as I can read. Um, he's back, but what? But wait, what's this? His flame is out. Why?
Shouldn't it be how, not why?
Well, it could be both.
as a scientist, I would think you would want to know how it's out, not why it's out. They could be possible. I think they would be slightly different answers. They might, it could result in the same
Maybe,
answer,
but
but
I think they'd be close enough to where either one would work.
yeah.
There was a tank of nitro upstairs. Could it have been that? It has possibilities. But as the Human Torch approaches Sardo, he again bursts into flames. Now I'm sure it was the nitro. This gives me a chance to strike a bargain. Let's see. Rushing to a corner, Sardo gets a tube of nitro gas and offers it to the Human Torch. Here, you can have this nitro if you'll let me go. But the Human Torch flies forward and quickly wrests the tank from Sardo's grip. Thanks, Sardo. This'll come in handy. But as for letting you go, never. Listen, I'll do anything you say, only don't burn me. You rat. You should have thought of that before you decided to make me the goat for your racket.
Oh well, guys, getting all fired up.
The Human Torch springs into action and starts destroying Sardo's laboratory. Then, leaping in an ape like fashion, he rips the chemical laden shelves down. Oh boy, that's going to probably even cause more problems. Somebody calling you, Rick?
No, it's just a notification on my phone of
Oh.
something or other.
Now is my last chance um, to get him. With seemingly fiendish delight, the Human Torch completely wrecks the lab as Sardo sneaks away to a corner, where he grips a tank of sulfuric acid. Then where he grips a tank of sulfuric acid, then sneaks up behind the torch. Boom! Hurling the tank, it explodes before it even touches the Human Torch. Poor fool, killed by his own hand. Remember how that's kind of how I don't know if you actually were you were with me or if you were in the chat when I was reading the first Batman story, but you remember that Batman said something very similar in that his first story too. You remember that in in
Uh,
the
you
case,
started roboting again.
huh?
You've started roboting again. I couldn't make out exactly what you were saying there. Something about another story at some
Yeah,
point that
yeah.
you
I
read.
don't know if you were here with me when we covered the first Batman story a while back. The case of the Chemical Syndicate. But Batman said something very similar to what the Human Torch just said.
Uh, he might. Might have been with you. I can't remember off the hand.
Anyways,
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just. Oh, I didn't want that to. So I was just. Anyways. So we're coming up on the 2 hour mark. As I said, we are going to try to get
Yeah.
through all three of the stories I had initially. Um,
Yeah, well, I think we're almost done this one.
yeah, we are pretty sure of it. Grasping an insulated tank of nitrogen, the only gas that will control his flame, the torch, um, while out of the burning, walks out of the burning lab. Hmm. We heard an explosion out here. What was it? A rat dealt out injustice to himself, Horton. The police, attracted by the blaze and explosion, rushed to the scene. You want to do the two police officers
Hey,
right there, Rick?
okay. Hey, Chief. I just saw Horton talking to the torch. So it's more of the torch's work, eh?
Hmm. Meanwhile, the torch um, leaves Horton and House uh, into the plane to experiment with the nitro. Okay. Um, I hope this nitro will bring complete control over the flame. Later, it works. I can now control the flame without the nitro. Good Lord, I can throw the flame as I would a ball. um, okay. Then turning back to its flame, turning back to its flame, the torch um, finds that he can fling the blue flame from his body.
That's a blue flame?
Meanwhile, the chief runs back to his car and sends a message over the
Wire, or whatever.
over the wire or something like that. You
Yeah.
want to go?
Attention, all cars, close in on the torch. He's headed down Spruce Street. Hurry, I'll trail him just in case.
I wonder if that car is following me. His suspicions confirmed. The torch um, shoots ahead like a comet. The car being left far back in the distance. But at the corner, a blockade of police cars see, seemingly trap the torch. Okay, come and get me.
It's no use. The heat's too great. We can't even get near him.
Wait, don't go. Watch.
Look, the flame. It's out.
Sorry, I caused you so much trouble. I didn't know you were after me. It's okay. You can take me. My body's cold. Later at police headquarters, Torch, you committed a most dastardly crime burning a warehouse and then proceeding to destroy Sardo's estate. Why? Burning the warehouse was Sardo's plan to shake down the company for protection. As for me, I was a victim of circumstances, all of which was part of Sardo's plan for a racket. Yes, I am guilty of burning Sardo's estate, but it was of his own doing. He set me free in air, thereby allowing me to ignite. Captain, leave the torch in my custody. I'll be responsible. Very well, Horton. The torch. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Very well, Horton. The torch is in your custody. Ha. He'd probably burn the jail down if I didn't do so. Oh boy. Uh, Horton leads the torch to his car and head at once for Horton's house. This might interest you, Horton. I have complete control over the flame. What? Later, inside Horton's lab. If he has complete control, I can make a fortune to him. Torch, I'd like to see an example of your control, please. The torch orders Horton to place an unlit cigar in his mouth. You see, I turn my flame on and merely point. Ah, there. Your cigar is lit. A perfect example of flame control. Wow, isn't that interesting? Dude has his own. Dude has his own cigarette lighter, cigar lighter, right?
Yeah.
Then, as a further example of control, the torch snaps his flame on and off. How's that, Prof? It's amazing. We could make a fortune. So even you've been touched by the possibility of a fortune in me, Horton? Putting on the flame, he gestures at the ceiling in a circular motion. No, Horton, I'll be free, and no one will ever use me for selfish gain or crime. The ceiling is burning.
Did you do that? Read that circular motion one? I don't think you did. Putting on the flame.
Oh yeah, I actually did read that one. I read that before.
Okay. I don't know how I missed.
Then, with a laugh and a mighty leap, crashing through the unburnt opening in the roof, Torch sails through space like a comet. Next month, another Human Torch picture action story. Now, before I do need to step away from the computer for a moment when I get down the name or. So if you want to, kind of talk.
Well, I was going to go grab another glass of water while you were doing that too.
But we're now down at Submariner here, so I'll be right back. Though I basically needed to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. Though let's see.
Okay.
We're at the 2-hour mark. We should hopefully be able to get through the other two stories because they're only 12 pages each. But
yeah.
But anyway, I'll be right back.
Same here.
All right, Rick, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so yeah, we're just past the 2 hour mark already, so we'll try. So we'll try to get through these next two stories a little bit quicker. And Submariner by Bill Everett,
Yeah.
and then we'll do the this day in each history, and then we'll try to wrap things up as quickly as possible here. Okay, Submariner by Bill Everett. Here is the Submariner, an ultra man of the deep, lives on land and in the sea, flies in the air, has a strength of 1,000 men, is a youth of dynamic personality, quick thought, and fast action. From whence does he come, and what is his mission? A salad,
Mysterious.
huh?
I said mysterious.
A salvage ship's diver comes up. The diving platform is hoisted and swung to the deck. The salvage ship SS Recovery. Sometime later, the diver, Rod Nelson, steps from the decompression chamber and is asked what he found at the bottom. You want to do these guys, Rick?
Okay. How do you feel, Nelson? Okay, Chief. What kind of puzzled? There's something screwy about that wreck. I found the safe in the main saloon. All right. But it looks like somebody's got there before me. We did this we did the safe's empty. Then too it looked like whoever rifled it had hasn't been gone long. There was a knife on the deck and it hadn't even rusted.
No narration, so continue.
Well, yeah, that's not strange. There's been no report of any other salvage ships in these waters for 3 years. We ourselves have been cruising here for a week, and we've seen no sign of life at all. Well, there's only one thing that. Well, there's only one. Well, there's only one thing to do. I'll have to send you down again with clearly Carly to see what evidence you can pick up. They may have left something by which we can identify them. You want me to do this guy too?
Yeah, yeah, might as well.
Okay, 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 Carly. Okay, send Carly ahead. I'll be with him in a minute.
I think you were doing him before, so I mean, because Carly would be the new
It's
guy.
hard to tell.
Yeah, I know.
It's
And
hard to
so
tell
Carly
some of the.
settled beneath the surface, little knowing, beneath the surface, little knowing the phenomena he and Nelson are about to witness.
All set, Carly. I'll drop the acetylene torch as soon as you hit bottom.
Say, Rod, did you leave that side hatch open, or was it sprung in that wreck in the wreck?
No, it was closed when I was down here before. There's something uncanny about this.
On the sea bottom, they converse by telephone. Okay.
Oh, they got cell phones for the bottom of the sea.
Come on, Rod. Let's get inside. Turn on your light. We may need it.
Good Lord, Carly, what's that?
A swimmer, Rod, but
It can't be human. It can't be. No human can live in this pressure. Yet now he's disappeared, and he was swimming. He can't be dead.
come on, let's follow him. He can't have gone far. But the swimmer eludes them, and with uh, long strokes of his powerful arms, rises to the deck of the sunken ship. Here he looks cautiously about him and sees the cables running from the divers to the surface of the water. Those robots, they can't be men. Why they're mechanical and so ponderous. Yet they're shaped like men, and certainly they're not fish. I wonder. One of them had some form of fire weapon. I'd better get out of here. These must be the control wires. I'll fix it so they can't follow me. Oh boy! With five,
Wow.
with oh, go ahead.
I just said, wow.
With 5 quick strokes, the swimmer cuts the air hoses, um,
Telephone
the air
cables.
hoses, telephone cables, and acetylene torch too.
Accelerate. Yeah.
Acetylene torch.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Our, our lines are cut. Call, calling surfers. Calling surfers. No answer.
The divers, realizing their predicament, quickly shut the air valves um, in their helmets. Um, this this improvising time, or no, this
Thus imprisoning.
thus imprisoning the air in their suits. Telephone wires severed. They are cut off from all communication. The submariner.
I'd be
Oh,
making for the surface at that point.
yeah, but could a person actually literally swim the surface from that deep a depth though, without help? You know what I mean? Why do you think they had the diving suits in the first place?
Yeah,
And if
well,
they
that's
come
to
up too
protect.
fast, if they come up too fast, then they get the bends
Yeah,
because of
well,
the depressurization.
I know you can dive from the bends, but if they're down there on the bottom of the surface without air, they are going to die for sure.
Yeah, kind of a note. The submariner darts through the door and attacks the divers.
Jeez, what an idiot! Or what a nasty guy. They're just looking for some sunken treasure, and that he's killing them over it.
Stabbing one violently, he drops his knife and seizes the other helmet, crushing it between his powerful hands. Oh boy. And the submariner is not a nice guy here, is he? Oh.
Yeah,
On deck of the Recovery,
these,
the. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and these guys aren't really bad guys.
On deck of the Recovery, the mate sees bubbles on the water surface, which warn him of the tragedy below. I'm going to go ahead and do the radio guy.
Nelson, Curly, Nelson, the wires are dead.
Oh, oh,
Oh, I guess that's me.
yeah.
Anderson, get into your suit. You'll have to go below, take lifelines and a knife and another torch, and hurry.
Aye, sir.
All right, send him down fast, Bosun.
Anderson finds the crushed bodies of Carly and Nelson. The submariner watches from seclusion. Um, frightened and um, rising um, the bends. Anderson hauls himself um, rapidly to the
rapidly.
surface. Huh? Back on deck in the decompression chamber, Anderson gasped out his report. The mate um, orders all hands to get the ship underway.
We'll have to report this to the Coast Guard. Peters, man the anchor. Winch. Winch. The anchor winch.
From the depths, the submariner sees the powerful propellers begin to churn as the anchor is hoisted. Let's see. With the speed of
Bullet.
a bullet, he sprawls upward and with superhuman um, strength, um,
Something the rudder.
seizes the rudder. These can sometimes be a little difficult with the way these copies are sometimes. um,
Yeah, I think somebody tried to color this one.
hmm.
Either that or it was a very bad coloring job on the
Jamming it
story.
or yeah, jamming it to the right. He stops the starboard propeller with his bare hands. In the engine room, the first assistant reports excitedly to the bridge. Go ahead.
Starboard propeller! Foul, sir! What's that? Good Lord, sir. The rudder's winch seems to be out of control. The ship won't respond.
Unable to repair the unknown damage, the captain orders the engine stopped. But uncannily, the ship proceeds headed for a coastal reef. The crew becomes panicky. With extraordinary strength, the submariner gives the unfortunate ship a terrific shove. And the recovery crashes high onto the rocks, splitting completely in two. Whoa! Consider it. Wow.
I'm gonna have to say that in this first appearance, Namor is a villain.
Yeah. It would appear so, but he may not have completely known what was going on though. But I guess because
Yeah,
we
but
haven't really heard anything he said like why he would be doing such a thing. He just attacked them, you know, thinking they were hostile.
yeah, but they hadn't done any hostile action. They were just down there trying to find some treasure.
Yeah, but now granted this is more later, and this is at least from my experience from watching the Namor cartoons and the from the '60s Marvel superhero show.
Mm,
You know, in
yeah.
this universe, Namor in particular didn't really care for the surface dwellers too much.
Yeah, well, I can get that, but you know, in a lot of ways, I say he's killing in cold blood here.
Yeah. Well, remember
You
too,
know,
he may
he
not
killed
even
those.
realize that they're humans either, because he just thought they were all machines. You
Yeah, but
remember?
then he attacks the. Yeah, but then he attacks the boat, and he would have seen blood. He would have seen another person come down for them or another machine, whatever. You know.
Yeah. Let's see. I can't read the majority. His own strength, the Submariner, um, diving back the diving back to the
And the
uh, submerged wreck.
sunken wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, submerged wreck, I believe. Gathering the divers' bodies in his arms, he speeds off through the water. His winged feet propel him, rocket like, um, into greater depths, and presently he races a mammoth um, door. He races a mammoth door. Um,
Oh no,
in
he
a
faces.
secluded, oh, what was that? He
He
faces. Oh,
faces a mammoth
he
door.
faces a mammoth door in a secluded grotto. It opens at his command. Uh, Doorman
I,
open. He enters a huge chapel like chamber and is addressed by a beautifully robed creature on the throne at the far end of the hall. Well, Namor, privileged one, what manner of prize dost thou bring us today? That, that I cannot truthfully say, Holy One, but thou shalt see for thyself. These I came upon and conquered, surprising them as they raided the Earthmen's derelict. They came from a floating ship, which I have wrecked with my great strength. I give them to you, and pray you may be pleased.
human sacrifice. Although he doesn't really realize they're human, but still.
Uh-huh. Well, I think that's about to change here. Great sharks, Namor. What type of prize dost thou call these? Open their encasements. Let us see of what they are made. With infinite caution, the helmets are unscrewed and lifted off. Holy Mother of Neptune! They are Earthmen! Oops! Oops!
Yeah, you wouldn't have realized that human men are, trying to salvage something from a human wreckage.
Yeah, but that didn't necessarily dawn on him, though. It didn't dawn on him that Earthmen could actually come down to the sea. Um.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, who else is going to be on one of their ships?
Yeah. Congratulations, my son.
Spacemen?
Yeah. Congratulations, my son. You have made a good beginning in our war of revenge.
I think
Oops,
that's woman.
oops. Yeah, I just realized that too. Maybe that's Princess Fen right there. I guess. Okay, so I'll try that again. Congratulations, my son. You have made a good beginning in our war of revenge. Why, mother? Uh, Karal, uh, Karal, I command thee to ossify these creatures, set them in the royal chamber, where they may be seen as examples to our worthy people. Done, your highness. But mother, I don't quite understand. Why are why are the Earth people so bad? Wasn't my father an Earthman?
You're an Earthman too. You just happen to live under the sea
Well, he's
or
half
live
an
in the sea.
Earthman.
Well, no, I just mean they all live on Earth, so they're Earthmen.
Well, I guess you got a point there. Yes, my son, and a fine man. But his people were cruel. They invaded our ancient home, deep in the waters at the South Pole, and nearly exterminated our entire race. I met your father in the year 1820. Um,
I think that's 1920.
oh, 1920. Oh, a great ship, a great ship. The Oracle came from America on a scientific expedition. Your father, Commander Leonard Mackenzie, was the captain, and they made their base on an ice floe directly above our city.
This would have been so much better for the Black Panther movie.
During the weeks that followed, we were tormented with bombardments of high explosives. Our
Castles.
our castles were demolished. Our husbands, wives, mothers, and even children were killed in droves. So, Rick, what kind of bombardments do you think were they dealing with?
Probably mines or depth charges.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking too.
But the thing is, somehow I don't think they knew they were there. They were probably just testing this stuff, and they didn't know anybody was living under the sea.
That may have been a possibility, but at least the way she's saying it, though, it almost does seem like maybe they did know because she somehow. But again, I guess we'll learn soon enough as we continue reading the story here. The White Earthmen were blasting us out of existence with their infernal scientific investigations. Soon, many more ships arrived, and finally, in desperation, our elders commanded an army to be formed, and I, not nearly not nearly resembling the female of the white heart, was vested as a spy. White races.
Why not form a delegation and go talk to them? Say, hey, guys, you're destroying our land. It's underneath you. We live underneath the sea.
Well, maybe
I know
because
people can be
they
stupid.
went action first and felt that that would not work in their case. That might have been.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but
Yeah. The thou then, beautiful goddess of the seas, of the seals, thou shalt find thy way into the hands of these white monsters. There, too, work your female wiles to our racial advantage. Get thee hence while there is yet time. And so it was that on the same night I was found hunched up and shivering in my ship's hold, just aft of the main mast. Great heavens, a stowaway! Captain, come quickly! Not realizing what I was or why I was there, and thinking me one of their own race, they they hubbed me. They hurried me to the commander, who who, good man that he was, decided that I was sufficiently clad for the climate, or insufficiently clad for that climate. After giving me um,
Yeah. My question
new
is,
clothes,
why would they question whether you were a regular Earth woman? There's nothing for them to, no reason for them to be suspicious for you to be something else. You look like them.
in which I nearly suffocated. They fed me some of their food. What it was, I don't know, but it made me violently ill. The commander took pity on me, and although I could not understand his language, tried to comfort me with uh,
Words.
words.
I think it's words, anyways.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Within a very short time, broke. He became we became fast friends. I began to learn their strange tongue. They could never understand, though, how I could swim so much in the extremely cold water. Of course, um, had to frequently. Of course, I had to frequently. For me, submariners cannot live out of the water for longer than 5 hours at a stretch.
And
And
I think
many,
that's we submariners.
yeah, for we submariners cannot live out of water for longer than 5 hours at a stretch. And many of us cannot live even that long.
So submariners are what they call their race or their
Yeah,
species or whatever.
yeah. Well, as time went on, the commander and I fell in love and were married by their own ritual. And all the while, I was giving secret information back to our people. We cannot win, master. They are too mighty. And they were too mighty, for even as our army assembled for the first counterattack. There came a terrible bombardment from above, which destroyed all but a mere handful of us.
They don't know you're there, and you won't let them know. That's why you're getting destroyed.
And so, my son, it has taken us 20 years to build up a race to avenge the brutal harm done us then. Now, since that you are the only one of us left who can live on land and in water, and because you have the strength of 1,000 Earth men, it is your duty to lead us into battle. You have begun well, but you must use strategy and great care. Go now to the land of the white people. So a lot of this, we initially thought he was a villain, but a lot of this is just mere misunderstanding, and it all comes down to it. It seems like, doesn't it?
Well, part of it is he didn't know all this, but he still killed those guys without a second thought.
Hmm. And
And
so,
now she's
Namor.
wanting
Oh, go ahead.
and now she's wanting him to go do it more.
This time with the foreknowledge of what's going on.
Yeah. So to me, unless he does something different when he gets to the surface, and again, although it's strange that as much as uh this would have been better than what they did for the social justice stuff and all that for um if they would have put this in the Black Panther, because they are saying white people, the land of the white people, America. This would have been better than what they did with, you know, Namor and that in the Black Panther. Having them
Just
down,
casting them all as Earthmen.
nah,
Earthmen
having
and
them down.
Submariners. That's how they're differentiating the two cultures here.
Yeah, but for me, this would have been better, in the Black Panther movie that they would have been in Antarctica. I think they said Antarctic, or was it the Arctic? Whichever, but having the base there and all that, their thing there, instead of off the coast of, what's the name of it, South America. But probably nobody at Marvel or who did that movie read this.
Yeah. Well, I doubt very seriously if anybody went, because nobody is like me, Rick. Nobody's thinking about like how these worlds are built and looking to see just how these worlds were built, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of us nerds that know, but you would think the people at Marvel should know this stuff. But
Mhm.
go figure. Anyways, I'll let you read on.
Yeah. So, anyways, getting back to the story then. And so, Namor, the avenging son, faces the surface men of the world in what promises to be mortal combat. In the advancing chamber, Namor meets his queen.
Joining chamber.
Uh, in his adjoining chamber, Namor meets his uh, cousin. Okay, cousin. I thought it was queen at first, but his cousin, young Dorma. He tells her of his commission and his proposed trip. Oh, Namor, how wonderful! Take me with you, please. Taking a young woman along for on an attack. Okay. Talk about a date.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's his
let's go.
cousin. So.
Let's go attack the surface dweller as our first date. Uh,
Yeah, but this is his cousin. I don't think it's supposed to be a date.
yeah, but well, Dorma though has been known to be, kind of Namor's love
Lover.
interest. Yeah. Um, it will be too dangerous, but you may accompany me part way. Come on, we must hurry. But won't we, um, won't we need to take some equipment with us, Namor? Let's see. Deciding that equipment uh,
Will
will
only.
willingly hamper their prospects. They travel light and leave the un the underwater castle with the heartfelt best wishes of the entire tribe. After traveling for 2 days at lightning speed, they stop for rest and come to service at the first sign of civilization. This must be Cape Anna Lighthouse, Dorma. It gives me an idea. We can start our crusade right here. You see, if we demolish this light, it will endanger many ships, perhaps destroy them. It will be our first um, wave. There's no telling how many people occupy the lighthouse, so we must take no chances. When the guard opens the door, I'll jump him and rush inside to wreck the controls. If anyone comes, yell.
Guard.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Anyone
just
comes,
laughing at him.
yeah. Anyone comes, yell to me quietly. Now, I hear someone coming. Oh, you want to do the guard there?
Hello? What? Oh! Smack!
Namor, quick, help! Why you? Namor, look! Like a flash, Namor leaps to the window. Oh no, my friend. You don't get away that easy. A guard shrieks in agony as Namor slashes mercilessly, blow after blow. Namor, what are you doing? Look out, Dorma. Coming down. Come on, girl. We've got to get to the top. We'll wreck the beacon light and take off as soon as we can. Hurry, Namor. We're being surrounded.
There are not that many people there to protect the lighthouse.
When a young man and woman can overtake them like that, well, of course, Namor is not just any ordinary young man now.
Yeah.
Anyways, you want
But
to do
I
the sailors here? You want to do the sailors here?
yeah. But I just mean any lighthouses that you know of, are they surrounded by this many naval people to protect it? It's
No,
just like
usually as from everything I've ever seen of lighthouses depicted in most shows, there's one maybe there's usually one person there.
It's
Sometimes
either a
usually either a single person or maybe a family. That's about
yeah,
the that's about the extent. One entity, basically.
yeah. This has got like a platoon almost.
Right.
Anyways, say who are those people? Where did they come from? I don't know, Chief, but they're sure raising some heck with the light.
Dorma, Dorma, there's our escape. When that plane flies nearer, we'll make a dive for it. Hold tight now. With the speed of an arrow, Namor's winged feet shoot them straight for the plane. Quietly now, and hurry, we must get rid of the pilot.
Unless you know how to fly that plane, Namor, I don't think that's a good idea.
Namor hurls himself upward and grapples with the pilot. The um, the airman is no test for Namor's superhuman strength, and with a terrific blow, Namor sends him flying into space. Dor- um, oh, Dorma, I'll have to leave you now. Wreck the ship somewhere and swim back home. Um, I'll get in touch with you later. And so Namor dives into the ocean again, and way to his way to further adventures in the crusade against white men. Okay, so that's an interesting way to end the story. Masked Raider.
Yep, Namor is a straight up villain in this first story. With that
Well,
ending, yeah, you're not going to
well,
be able to convince me otherwise.
maybe from our perspective, but think about this. You know, his people are more seeking revenge than anything else for wrongs that they perceived against them. So,
Yeah, but I don't think it.
it's a weird form of defense. Fearing that they might, attack them. So, all right. So here's Kazar the Great. I know I was gonna. Let's see, where are we at now? Because I said we'd try to make
Like
this
10, 10
3 hours.
minutes to 10 minutes to 12, so almost 3 hours at this point.
Yeah, you know something. I know I said I would read all three of these stories, but we did at least read a little. We did at least read some of some of the powers and stuff here, because we're going to be here another half hour, and I wouldn't
At
want
least.
that much longer. So I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of slowly go. I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna just let you look at the pictures and stuff like that. We might read like title of Kazar the Great from the famous character created by Bob Boyd. So we'll look at it. We just Czar, Traja, Ben Thompson. Uh, Actually, this would be an easy read too. But this is also 12 pages, so
Yeah.
and Rick, I know you have. If you wanted to comment on any of the art here, you know, what
It's
did you think
looking
of the art from what we've seen of this book?
here. This one is the art in this one's looking good. Obviously, the Namor one left a little to be desired because
Right.
it was hard to make out what some things were, and of course,
Right.
read it. You know, Now, whether it would have been as hard back in the day when you were reading this as a physical copy, I can't say for sure. But
Yeah,
like even that red panel that you just passed, right there, that becomes that the red and black like that is usually hard to read. And then, there's that spot that's slightly darker down in the corner of it that makes it even harder.
yeah. Again, folks, I know I said I would read all three stories here, and I was intending to, but we're just running a little short on time here, despite all
Yeah,
that.
the reading took a little bit longer than you thought it would.
Yeah. Well, I think
Maybe
we would have definitely made it if I didn't, if I hadn't gone through the like all the intro stuff. But we, of course, since we're starting a new company and stuff like that, obviously,
yeah. What maybe you can do is off air is record yourself reading this and just put it up as a short.
um,
You don't
like
have to do it, but it's an
yeah,
idea.
but people, at least people will get a look at this.
Yeah.
But now maybe next time, of course, I'll read the Kazar story next time. As well, I mean, we'll figure it out. Now for all we
Yeah.
know, maybe the next stories won't be as long. Maybe they'll be back down to like 6 or 7 pages, like in other books. You know, but we'll wait and see. So there we go. So I hope everybody enjoyed that part. Um, so now we're going to start to wind down. And Rick, if you can stick around after the show for just a couple minutes for you
Yeah,
know
of
post
course.
post show and scheduling of the next time we meet. So, anyways, we did talk at least a little bit about this Kazar character. Anyways, it was different, and we covered a little bit. Basically, he's based out of Africa, orphaned, and then kind of similar to Tarzan in many ways. As opposed to the Kazar most people know from the Silver Age of Kevin Plunder and the Savage Land, who debuted, as they said, in X-Men number 10. So, anyways, with that, we're going to go ahead now and look back at this day in each history. So, let me just 99, 2003, 1943, and then of course 2018, I believe, right? Yeah, okay. So, without any further ado, let's take a look back at this day in each history. Today being Friday, January 13th, 2023. Let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history. And the first thing I want to do is I'd like to wish a happy 80th birthday to Richard Mall. Now,
Oh,
of
cool.
course, now the reason that we're covering it now, Grant, even though he's probably his most famous role, of course, is Bull Shannon from Night Court, but he also had quite a bit of a voice acting history. You might remember him from such works, providing the voice of Two Face in Batman the Animated Series and New Batman Adventures, Scorpion and Spider Man
I
the
don't.
Animated Series. Huh?
I said I didn't realize he did Two Face.
Yeah, in the '90s Batman version, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, let's see, he also replaced Martin Landau as Scorpion in Spider Man the Animated Series. In the '90s Incredible Hulk series, he was the voice of Abomination. Um,
Oh,
so at least some. Let's see. He also provided voice work in Batman: The Brave and the Bold episode. Show at night as Lou Moxon. Um, so and he briefly reprised Two Face after following James Remar. So basically he had quite a few pretty well known voices he would do for people. So happy 80th
yeah.
birthday to Richard Mall. It's kind of hard to believe that he's 80 years old now. I mean, the guy's been around for a while, I know, but
Yeah. Actually, it's not that hard to believe that he's been around that long because, like
yeah,
Night Court was back in the 80s, and I'm sure he
Yeah,
was
mid
in
'80s.
his 30. I'm sure he was in his 30s for that.
And let's see, and he is out. He, of course, with a few others, has outlived a number of the cast member. Let's see. Well, he's outlived both. He's outlived all three of the female bailiffs, but two of them were kind of up there. Up there. You remember the three female bailiffs he was in Night Court? There
I
was
remember
Selma, there
two
was
of them.
Doris Halleck, and then there was Marshall Warfield. Marshall Warfield, the last of them, just died a few years ago. And then
Yeah. I only remember two of them: the old lady, the old white lady, and the black woman.
okay, the gray haired old lady, because there were a couple of old ladies. So um, there was a gray haired old
Uh,
lady, and then there was a sandy haired older lady, like one who was in, like that one was Selma. I think she passed away from like lung cancer or something like that. But
uh,
yeah, all three of the female bailiffs are now passed on, but one of them back in those days. Anyways, moving on to the next piece of niche history here. Um, on this date in 1999, the 50th issue of Azrael, Agent of the Bat, went on sale on this date back in 1999, which was, of course, 24 years ago today. So on this date, 24 years ago today, the 50th issue of Azrael, Agent of the Bat, went on sale on newsstands for $2.25. It was 32 pages. The title was called, the name of the story is Resurrection, written by Dennis J. O'Neill. Roger Robinson doing the penciling, the inking done by James Dean uh, Pascoe, Kenneth.
I have I have some of those comics.
Oh, some of the
I'm not sure
Azrael of the
whether I have
Bat.
that issue or not. Yeah.
Kenneth Bruznik did the lettering. Demetrius Basokas did the coloring. So on this date back in 1999, Azrael, Agent of the Bat, went on sale on newsstands. Anyways, getting ready to move on to the next piece in each history. On this date in 2003, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event from the Mohegan Sun Arena in um, Uncasville, Connecticut. Now, mind you, this was the go home Raw before the Royal Rumble. Main event saw Chris Jericho defeat Batista, Kane, and Rob Van Dam in an over the top challenge. The winner got to pick their Royal Rumble number. In other matches, at the beginning of the night, Victoria successfully defended the WWE Women's Championship in a triple threat hardcore match against Jacqueline and Trish Stratus. Later on in the evening, of course, Trish Stratus accompanied the Hurricane to the ring, while Victoria had Steven Richards in her corner, which the Hurricane defeated Steven Richards. Booker T and Lance Storm ended in a no contest. William Regal defeated Jerry Lawler by disqualification. Maven and Tess defeated Christopher Nowinski and D'Lo Brown. So, this was the go home Raw before Royal Rumble that year. So that happened on this date 20 years ago in 2003. And finally, from 5 years ago today, on this date 5 years ago today from Wit Studios, the compilation film Attack on Titan, The Roar of Awakening, which was a compilation film of season 2, was released on this date back in 2018, 5 years ago today. So season 2, Attack on Titan season 2 compilation film, The Roar of Awakening, was released on this date 5 years ago today from Wit Studios. So there you have it, everybody. I thank everybody for being here tonight. I thank everybody for all the likes and shares. I hope everybody got some enjoyment out of what we did read. Granted, some of them were more difficult because some of those scans look pretty bad at times. But I hope everybody did enjoy it. We did take a look back and talk a little bit about some of the early days of Timely as it was known then, and we did at least read through the Human Torch and Namor. So, anyways, next Friday we'll be looking at the. I'll have Tim Olson with me, and we'll be looking at comics. We'll be looking at Speed Comics #1 from Harvey Comics. So we'll be once again looking over a new company and new book and all that. So, so with that, I thank everybody for being here, and don't forget, of course, this Sunday we'll have our weekend edition where Rick, hopefully, you'll be back for that. Briefly
Yeah,
tell us
hopefully.
about our experience tonight. This Sunday is going to be kind of more of a focused episode because, as we were talking last week, we're going to kind of go over the process of how comic books are made. We're going to talk about like the different, because back in these days, of course, we just dealt with writers and art. Usually, it would be one or two people, just one doing the writing, one doing the illustrating. But nowadays you have all these different like pencilers and all that. So
I think you might have somebody for the coloring because that would be a more difficult task back then, I would say.
yeah. Anyways, oh wow, I seem to be frozen on StreamYard here apparently.
Well, not to me, you're not.
Yeah, because at least from what I'm seeing,
Let's see.
I'm seeing on the YouTube screen there, but all right. Well, now it seems like we're back again here. Yeah, okay. I seem to be frozen there for a moment on stream, at least on my end for some reason. But anyways, so with that, I thank everybody for being here. This Sunday, of course, we'll be back for our weekend edition for our group conversation, and then from there, we will, of course, Monday through Thursday, the Needs Newscast, and next Friday, I mentioned already, Tim Olson will be with me as we look back to August 1939, look at comics that went on sale from Harvey Comics. With that, guys, I thank everyone for being here tonight, and we'll see you back on Sunday. Bye.